Okay, hi everyone, my name is Brittany Renner. I am 30 years old. I'm single as a Pringle. I have a 1.5-year-old son, and I'm here to learn something new today.
I'll help you with that. That's why they brought me.
Damn.
What's going on, guys? Boy, do we have a show for you today. We are about to watch Brittany Renner, the 403 of the century, about to get completely destroyed. Are you ready? You better buckle your seatbelt because it's about to go down right now.
There's never been a single female who's been celebrated for her promiscuity ever in history. It's always been frowned upon and disgusting. So yes, we are completely and utterly different. Yes, it's different if a woman cheats on a man. And if a man is at a complete top level of his life and ticks every single box, and if he decides to be loyal, which some do, and I can be loyal, and I have been loyal, but there's also times in my life where I think, fuck it, I don't want to be, and get a new girlfriend every single day of the week. I can do that, and I can decide to do that. If a woman decides to do the same, purely because her value is high enough to attract so many males, because she's beautiful, for example, it is completely different. And I'm going to explain to you why it's completely different, so buckle up. It's different. It's different. It's different. Well, I'll tell you why. It is impossible for a female to be promiscuous on a long enough period of time without devaluing herself, because she is fucking people she shouldn't be fucking. There is no way she is sleeping with endless men, and all of them are either high-value men or treating her the way she should be treated. If you find a woman who slept with 50, 100 dudes, she's either fucking dudes which aren't at her level or haven't worked hard enough to try and get the pussy. She was just too drunk to realize he's a loser who plays video games. Or she's fucking a top G who barely texts her back. So either way, she's fucking dudes she shouldn't be fucking, or a guy who's at the level who doesn't give her the right amount of attention. For a woman to find a guy who's truly on a level, who truly treats her the way she should be treated, that's once every couple years, if that. You ain't just gonna go out there fucking a new dude every week and say, yeah, he's worth pussy. Yeah, he treats me good enough to get my pussy, da-da-da. And you know what's funny about the universe? It's actually beautiful about the universe because it's equal and opposite forces. When you devalue yourself, it's kind of like men can smell it on you. They can just look at a bitch and go, oh.
Yeah, they can smell that dirty box.
And that's the way it works. So you have to be very careful as a female and sit and go, does this man truly deserve to fuck me? And if you think about it, the answer 99% of the time, especially if you're promiscuous, is no. So when a woman is sleeping around with all these men, she's devaluing herself. She's devaluing herself, and the world knows, God knows, the universe knows. When a man does it, he doesn't devalue himself at all. That's just the way it works.
Something. What about, what does the woman want in your eyes? What do you think? And what's the game you give for the boys?
All right, now we're about to get into Brittany Renner's passive aggressiveness, and it's going to slowly escalate. Take a look.
I'm going to tell you, but before that, I need another Clementine, and I need to give half to our friend here because she just rolled her eyes at me. And I'm perspicacious. I notice everything. She doesn't realize that I'm a ninja. I detect these things. Even when I'm looking directly ahead, I can detect it. So I'm going to give her some of my Clementine, and she's going to feel better. So I'm going to get a Clementine for her. Would you like some Clementine, my dear?
I'm sure.
You want some Clementine?
I think for me, it's like...
I asked you a question. Would you like some
I would
Clementine?
love some,
You
yeah.
want some Clementine?
Yeah.
We're going to hook it up.
Okay.
Clementine's coming. All right. Go on. Continue.
Okay. What?
No, I mean, I just feel like this is definitely a different conversation for me because I'm very open-minded. I love hearing different perspective, and I do feel like this is a newer idea. Like you said, within the last 30, 40 years, this is a new concept. We don't know how it's going to end. I just know from like my experience, other women that I've met as well, it's like the reason for even like relationships, why they're not lasting is because people don't want to put up with the disrespect. And like, even when you were talking about like, oh, it's okay for me to cheat, but not for you. My thing is like, why not have transparency and have it be polygamous, polyamorous, whatever works for you? That's like, to me, where it loses me with the traditional stuff.
I get it.
It's
All
like,
right.
why can't we have transparency?
okay.
And if I sign up for that, cool.
So how does it? No man in a million years. Let's all be realistic, right? No man in a million years is going to meet a girl he likes and go, I want to be polyamorous. Like, come on, that's gay. Let's cut this bullshit. So let's be realistic. How does a man show love to a woman? Tell me.
Exclusivity.
Wrong. That is how
Time, resources,
Wrong.
and something else.
Time, resources. So
Yeah.
that's a good way to start. First things first. I'm a man of my word. I don't even think I'm a liar. So here's your Clementine.
Thank you.
And he peeled it. What a
Thank
gentleman.
you.
I'm a gentleman. Right. So obviously, I'm not saying blatantly disrespect your woman.
I feel like, I guess my question would be then is like, how do you view sex? Because I like, sex at the end of the day is spiritual unification.
She said, sex is spiritual unification.
sex at the end of the day is spiritual unification. I feel like I've gone through a lot of different stuff. I've had a lot of different experiences where I did not value myself, so I never had a man that valued me. So it's like, yeah, you rack up guys, and guys you shouldn't be texting back or whatever. But I feel like I understand that there is a difference with how men view sex and how they move around in the world. But it's like, sex is a sacred thing, no matter male or female is doing it. So that's why for me, like my biggest, like the hardest for me to understand is like, this is such a sacred thing, and it's like taking a piss for a guy.
Can I just say something? You sure you weren't making love to somebody that was having sex?
I'm sorry?
You sure that you weren't making love to somebody that was just having sex?
Hey, auntie, that's a nice. That's
Have I-
in there.
No, that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like as women, they make love to men that are just having sex.
Right.
That's the difference.
That's not the point.
But my thing is, okay.
Not all the time.
So I think when men hear that, though, it's like if it was sacred to you, you would have waited till you were married.
But it's
And
like,
that's
right. No, I get
yeah.
that. But the reality is that the world is not so black and white. So I understand that there are these things in place that worked and made sense. And now we're approaching an era that like, we don't know what's going to happen, but there's gray area. You've had sex. I've had sex. She's had sex. We've had sex with different guys. That doesn't mean that we're damaged goods. We're used goods. I understand status is a big part of that. I understand that sex is viewed differently, but I feel like you should not, if you're looking at face value, I can understand why you would be judged from your past. But if I'm a guy interested in you, I don't care about what you've done.
But that's the thing. Like men do though. That's the thing. Like a virgin's more valuable to a man than a girl that's had sex with multiple men. Like it just is what it is.
There's a limit.
But the modern man's solution is not a virgin. A modern man needs a partner, somebody that's actually smart and can survive in the world of today.
But I'm saying the men with
and
the
that's
most,
going to be a lived
the
woman.
the men with the most choice are going to pick women that are more pure in general.
I would prefer someone who's monogamous. I left a situation where I got the Bentley, I had all that, I had the kids, I had that. That was great. I want a companion. I want real love. And to me, what monogamy means to me is someone who's committed to themselves. That's like, the answer is within you. And to be honest, I feel like, again, like the sex has been lost in translation and what it means. I don't care, man or female, it's been lost as it's so sacred. So for me, I have kind of taken those blinders off where I'm like, okay, he has to be here. I'm okay with dating the trainer in Austin, Texas. That's just where I'm at. Like, I don't need a certain thing because I know what I'm wanting. Most guys in that percentage are not going to give me. So I would rather have a monogamous man than someone who can do whatever.
So you think the personal trainer is going to be monogamous? They're like known for cheating, no?
Well, I mean, here's my thing. Like, I get it. Like, I don't generalize people because I'm one of the most misunderstood people online as well. And I feel like there's a lot more to me, and I don't like to just put everyone in a box. I'd like to get to know people. So no, I'm not going to just say, oh, well, of course he's going to cheat on me. Like, no.
Okay. Would you take a guy that makes $35,000 a year and had a dad bod?
I pour into myself, and I'm accountable for my shit. I'm aware of what I got going on. I'm not going to have a mom bod. I'm in the gym. I had a baby a year and a half ago. I'm in the gym 4 to 5 times a week. So I would want someone who can match at least the work ethic. Now, when it comes to money, I know for me, I want to be able to, I do not want to rely on a man. I have literally done that before. It didn't pan out in my favor, okay? Because what happens is you get the rug ripped from under you, and then now you fucking get out, bitch, give me the motherfucking keys. It isn't that.
Why do they tell you, get out, bitch, give me the keys? I bet you it's because you're doing something you're not freaking supposed to do. If you sat there and was the person that you're supposed to be, but no, you are not. You built your whole life making this 403 image on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. You wanted to be known as the hoe of the century. I mean, that's what you wanted to do to yourself, and that's what you got.
So for me, the lifestyle I want, I am responsible for. So I don't look for a man to make X amount of dollars because anything that I want, I'm going to get myself.
Well, because in my head, I feel like a guy's just as likely to cheat if he's in the top 20% of like looks.
Are you sure? And I'm not accusing, I'm genuinely asking. Are you sure you're not confusing the amount of time the man spends with you with his monogamy? Because they're different things. Because what happens a lot of the time, if a man's out here chasing chicks, he's barely home.
I still would care because I feel like that's still just an hour a day and it's not really quality time. I feel I really have been in so many different situations. Again, the trainer in Austin to the NBA player baby daddy. Like I have seen all of that stuff. And it's just my personal experience and perspective to where I want someone that sees the value in the Grand Canyon. I want somebody who
I understand. Okay,
like,
so that's a good point, and so I'll just ask the first question. I'm gonna ask the second question. Why do you think 0 women choose them when they're at the peak of their choices? So when a woman is 19 and she can go anywhere she wants, every man wants her. She can go on any yacht in Miami. She can get flown out to Dubai. When she has all the choices in the world, why is she completely uninterested in those kind of men? And then when she gets to a certain age of maturity and there's a whole new generation of girls who have all the choices, then they sit there and go, you know what? I deserve monogamy and and they all of a sudden want to grow up and mature. Why does no woman decide that when she actually is at her most valuable?
I feel like like I said, I don't like to speak for all women. I just speak for myself. But I know for me that I was looking for a man for a lifestyle, something that I was not able to do individually by myself. So that's why it's like, well, yeah, I want to be able to do this, do that. I want to go for the football player that was just on GQ. And in reality, now I realize, well, okay, there's a lot that comes with that. I can make my own money. I don't necessarily need that type of guy for the happiness that I'm looking for. Again, seeing value in the Grand Canyon is a lot different than like, okay, here's money for this, here's allowance for that.
And
here's
that's
an
the
hour
same
of my
thing
time.
as you asking why a man that is 20, 21, 23 is not a top G like a 30, 40-year-old man.
No, the point,
your age actually dictates your sort of maturity to a large extent.
Well, I'm arguing the point. The point I'm trying to make is that what I actually think happens, especially in the modern world, because the modern world's all fucked up and nothing's the way it's supposed to be. The traditional life path of a female is she's 17, she's 18, she's 19, and her value is massively inflated. And I don't blame her. Of course it's massively inflated. Imagine being 19 years old, have achieved exactly fucking 0 in your life, knowing nothing. You put makeup on, and sports stars, billionaires, actors, the most important famous people on the planet, the richest men on the planet are begging for your attention. The ego you're going to develop, let's all be honest, right? The ego you're going to develop is going to be monu-fucking-mental. I'm special, I'm so gorgeous, all this bullshit, right? And then what happens as they grow older, as new generations come along, because the truth is most women are at their peak attraction, let's say in their early 20s. As they grow older, what women become is far more fearful of competition. This is why you'll see a woman who's a bit older go, oh, you know, I really want monogamy. What she's scared of is her dude getting a 21-year-old. That's what she's fucking scared of. She may not know it. She may not say it. But basically, that's what the truth is, because she knows a 21-year-old is going to be more desirable, higher status, more fertile. That's what she's scared of.
Cheating is bad when you're 30 or 27.
So no, but it's not about that. I'm telling you the shift in the female mentality, because when a female is 20, she doesn't give a fuck about any of this. She doesn't want to find the nice man. Now she's trying to, like you're saying, chasing a lifestyle, chasing Mr. Promiscuous, chasing Mr. Famous. Doesn't give a shit until she starts getting scared. Oh shit. Oh, my age begins with 3 now. And then they change, their mentality changes. It's a fear element.
With hindsight now, would you have reversed it and like started young, looking for someone to settle down with, looking for those values that now you know? I'm talking that with hindsight.
Okay, well, I actually, from 18 to 22, I was in a relationship. I've always actually been a lover girl, despite what I put out online for, you know,
I've never
views.
seen you online.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, that's even better. I have always wanted one person, and I feel like I was so delusional in thinking that, oh, I'm like you said, like I have value, I'm beautiful, I'm this, I'm at my peak. Like, why wouldn't you want to be with me? So going into these relationships, or just like, just people, my goal was always to get commitment. Like, I'm giving you my time, I'm pouring into you because I want commitment. And the reality is I never really understood my value. So I was going through guys, giving up sex, doing this, and it didn't make sense. So I believe in, like, I stand on everything I do. Like, yeah. I don't do apology tours. It is what it is. And I think that's where I feel like when they talk about women being delusional and all these other things, it is true. Because what you have to understand is that there are repercussions to your decisions, which is fine.
Are there repercussions to your decisions? Have you really learned that yet, Brittany? Because I don't think you have. You've been able to take every bad decision in your life and try to platform it. Try to get yourself up higher with some clout off of your bad decisions. Is that really what you learned? Please tell me more.
So then you're talking about, okay, well, I want this type of guy, I want this, that, and that. You're talking about maybe monogamy. That's 3 to 5% of animals are monogamous. I think that's what it is, right? So your window is really, really small for what you're looking for. And even to go on to the point you said where you were talking about, it's like a subconscious fear. I think it's like, for me, I feel like if it was more of a fear, I would have just stayed in my situation. Like, it wouldn't have made sense. Like, I mean, that was my first kid. I thought I waited and did it right. I left because I believe it. There's something else on my heart when it comes to love, and I'm just gonna have to trust that. And if that means being alone, having a dog, I have to take that chance because the Bentley, the ring, the house, and still getting, again, deceived, right? Disrespected, because deceit is disrespect, right? So I cannot settle for that. I can't suck a dick and shut up. And that is where a lot of people don't like my views and what I represent because it is something new. I don't know how it's going to fucking end. I don't know what's going to happen.
What would you tell your 17, if you had to, like, what would you tell your 17-year-old self, knowing what you know now?
That the answers aren't outside of you, because I feel like I'd always look for men to answer all of my questions that I've ever had. I thought when I had a man, it would complete me. And I feel like, too, especially with, like, my dad not being in my life, you look for somebody to guide me. Like, so that's where, for me, I put too much value in someone else having the answers for me. So that's why I'm really big on accountability. So I would just tell myself, like, to be patient, to take your time, because I was always quick. Oh, let's try to get in a relationship. Like, we weren't even compatible. There's a lot of just not compatible factors. So I feel like for me, it would be to slow down and to really get to know people instead of just blindly banking on potential that most likely will never be tapped into, or selling myself short because there's a fear of, well, I don't know, this could be the best that I could get. I might as well just shut up and suck a dick.
And that's what I meant about women hit a certain age and then realize, oh my God, it wasn't that old fashioned. You know, it works because it does. But there's no point in waiting till you're a certain age to start thinking about it. Am I right or am I wrong? If they ask you for your advice.
No, I totally get what you're saying. Like, I totally agree with that. I think that no matter what you decide to do, you have to accept whatever repercussions come behind that. So any advice that I give to anybody is do what you want, but just know there are repercussions, good, bad, or indifferent, that are going to come behind it. So, I mean, and I think that's just where I'm at. I don't even think it's like an age thing. I think it's like, in reality, I have a son, and you really start asking yourself questions. And again, I hate that it took having a child to really look into my life and call myself out on my bullshit.
So if you got pregnant earlier, if you got pregnant at 18, 19, would it?
I was always on birth control.
Okay.
I was on birth control for a decade. I got off birth control because the person I was with wanted to have a baby.
Okay.
So again, I thought I did it right. Clearly not, because I wasn't married, but it still didn't work out because it just wasn't my guy. So that's where I just think, like, even if I still would have taken it slow, there just were a lot of people that just were genuinely not my person, and that's okay. A real man, though, because I was in a situation but I was just in a situation like that, to where it's like hearts don't break even, and that's the reality too. It's like, if those morals and principles are not instilled in a man, none of that shit matters. So obviously the child support stuff obviously hits close home to me, because I'm already $50,000 just in lawyer fees trying to get him to provide. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it sucks, because it's like, you play in the NBA, like, why don't you want to do more? And it's just because, again, of the relationship. It's personal. It's not about our son.
Personal. That's right.
So it's like, if you're not.
So I just feel like it's like, why do you get money for making a poor choice?
Well, it wasn't a poor choice, because it took two.
I'm not trying to, like, disrespect you in any way. It's just like, if you left, and
no.
so it's like, why do you get money for it? It just doesn't make sense.
because we made a commitment. We made at the end of the day, we made a commitment. We have a forever commitment. Fuck marriage. We are forever family.
So you left him, and he should pay you, because y'all have a forever commitment that you walked out on, but still, nonetheless, you still have the commitment, even though you left, and the commitment to you means that this man should give you a bunch of money. What the hell is going wrong with you? I wish I seen you right now.
So again, as someone who is literally going through this, if I made more money than him, I would be paying him child support, and that would be fair to me.
But this is what's really interesting. What's truly interesting is if you go to other countries, and I'm talking about civilized countries, right? If you go to Poland or Czech Republic or whatever, these countries, which are in many metrics more civilized than the West, they're safer to live in, they're cleaner, etc. There's no child support laws. So if you have a divorce, the man just takes care of the woman because that's his kid, and that's just what he's supposed to do, and that's just it. So what you're saying is, you're right about the man having the morality instilled inside of them. And my point is that the reason a lot of this doesn't exist, the reason men don't have morality installed in them, is not just about the individual case of the man. It's about society as a whole. It's about women as a whole, men as a whole, the dating game as a whole, the life he's living as a whole. And this is the world we live in. This is why I was talking about how dangerous new think is, because now we have this new think, this new world, and we're living in this new world. And the truth is, as a man, now the game has changed. In the game of chess, sometimes it's not about winning. It's about making sure you don't lose. If you can not lose, if you can not blunder any pieces and protect your king long enough, you'll win the game. And there's a lot of men who are now like, okay, how do I not lose? Well, you know what? I become fucking ruthless. That's how I don't lose. I get all my sex because the women are promiscuous. I get laid as much as I want. I don't let anyone fucking tie me into anything dumb. Any bitch wants to get fresh to me or fucking talk to another dude, I cut her off financially. And you just get ruthless so you don't lose the game. But that's because the game's been rigged against men. So the harder you rig the game against us, the more ruthless we're going to have to be to compete. And it's unfortunate. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm just saying why men do what they do.
But I think it's disgusting that a man can have a child and not support him.
So do I. But this is another thing. So this is the comments we have to make, right? Because we don't have all the answers. We have to make the comments on it. This goes into the deeper point. Every time a court rules in favor of a chick having $100,000 a month, that puts men off to a level. Like, it's fine if there was a baseline child support, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. That's if you have a kid, baseline, regardless of income. If your man wants to give you more, he does. If he doesn't, whatever. But when you come along and start saying this percent of a man's income, do you have any idea how scary that is to a man who works for his money? He works for his money. And do you know why it's scary? It's not just because he's giving his money away. It's because he knows he isn't giving money to the kid.
Yeah.
The kid, you can raise a kid on $500 a month in most of the world. You want that kid in Gucci, you in a nice car, going on dates with another dude with my money. I'd rather burn the fucking house down than to give it to you under those fucking circumstances.
Look at Brittany's face. Look at her face. Just continue watching her face. That shows you all. He just told her, you don't need all this stuff. You trying to use this, trying to leave this man and use your commitment as a reason why he should pay you for the rest of your life. And not just normal amount on child support. You want a certain percentage of his paycheck every month going straight to your bank account. Oh,
vouchers for child support.
I just think it incentivizes poor decisions. Like I haven't gotten pregnant by someone, but but I'm saying, but like you're gonna pay someone who's done that. Like, why do they get?
Okay. No, but I'm literally telling you that what if I made more money than him, I would have no problem paying for my child. And there's child support laws vary in different states. So in North Carolina, for instance, if you make over combined of $300,000 a year, then you are considered off the grid. So then you have to prove this is how much your rent is. Any bill that my son occupies, I get a percentage of. So on the low end, it would be 50%. If there's a big enough salary gap, it could be up to 97%. In the court, the judge gets to decide what makes the most sense. So if my child's father makes $20 million a year from basketball, he gets to decide if $6,000 is a lot, if $8,000 or $10,000, whatever. But you have to prove that. So it's not like you just it's enough money for a Chanel bag. Like my son watches Peppa Pig. That's a cable bill. You know what I mean? So it's a percentage of everything. So you're not like just living it up. You're just living. So you're able to. There's a roof over your son's head.
My whole point is that it's all down to choices. And
the man made a choice too because I can't get pregnant unless he nuts in me.
I understand that, but I'm
then there's nothing to argue. You understand that.
You're the one that's you're in control of who gets born. Abortion's legal.
Okay,
as soon as he nuts, it's completely out of his control.
I'm talking. No, I waited.
Yes, you did.
I waited.
No, and as a person, again, let's ask somebody who's actually going through, because none of you fucking know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to child support, lawyers, none of that shit. None of you fucking know, okay? So you don't. The reality is, if I would have gotten married and did everything right and did everything the moral way, right?
You would have just did everything right, the moral way, okay? If I would have just did it all correct, okay, it would have still been so bad. So bad, you hear me? So bad that no one's ever seen before something this bad. You know what I'm saying?
Guess what? All I would have on top of what I'm going through with child support is alimony. So I'm still in the courts fighting, whether I'm married or whether I'm not. So that I get what you're saying, because hey, you at least get the commitment to, maybe back up that he's gonna be there, but it doesn't ensure anything. Everybody wants a fucking guaranteed thing. There's no guaranteed in life.
We're talking different places.
If you're going through life and you find that men don't really feel about you that way, that's because a lot of their instinct is being eroded by the fact that you, like you said, they look through your IG or they look through your life and you've lived so much life and they just feel like, there's nothing new I can bring to this girl's reality.
But I don't feel like that's true, though, because I think it's I get what you're saying to a degree, right? But it's you could be on a private jet 10 times, but it's going to be special because it's with you.
Yeah. Not for him, it isn't. Not for him. For him, it's special because it's your first time. Because men, maybe it's a biological predisposition. Maybe it's just the way we're designed. But let's tie it back to sex. Virginity, first time. It's not that you've done it, it's that you've done it with the first time with me. That's what is important. It's experience as a whole that men find. It's just the truth. Call me misogynistic, cancel me, whatever. I'm telling the truth, I always have done. It's experience of life as a whole that men, to a degree, find off-putting. We don't want a woman who's had a bunch of trauma, had a bunch of experiences, done a bunch of shit, knows a bunch of people, been a bunch of places. That's the absolute opposite of what we want. We want the complete polar opposite of that. And what's funny is women want men who have done those things. I'll tell you right now, go out there and find a virgin woman and say, do you want to have your first boyfriend? Do you want to lose your virginity to a virgin man or a man
virgin hunk.
or a man who's had a couple girls? She'll choose a dude with experience as a virgin herself. Experience is always coveted and respected in men. It's the opposite in women.
That's true.
It's true. So we have to look at how fucked up the world is. Women, especially between their 18 and 28, or 18 and 25, let's say, are living these crazy lifestyles, these crazy lives with the most important people, richest people on the planet, doing everything that can be experienced under the sun. And then at 29, 30, some dude's expected to come along, know he's second place to X, Y, Z, and be happy with that. And not allow it to hurt his ego, and sit there and pick it up and put a fucking brave face on. It kills him every day inside. That's the reality. He's in love with you, and you've been fucking where with fucking who? I can't afford a jet. I'm Joe Schmo.
Okay.
That fucking breaks their hearts.
Do you think that hoes can ever be turned into housewives?
Okay, I'll answer that question. And the answer is actually, truthfully, yes, which I know a lot of people are confused by. They can. If you're a good enough, high enough level man, you absolutely can turn a hoe into a housewife, but why the fuck would you?
He knows that she's a 403, a hoe that wants to be turned into a housewife, and he just in front of her told her that, yeah, this hoe right here can be made into a housewife, but why would you?
Because you don't have to. A man like me, I could. But I'm not low on options, so I would never decide to do that. If you're a billionaire, could you can find an old rusty car and rebuild it, or you can just buy a new one, right? So it's not about what could be done, it's about what will be done. So once women hit a certain status of man, I don't think women are stupid. I actually argue the fact that women have a beautiful intuition. I think that women, to a degree, their intuition is truly almost psychic. The number of times I've come home and she's like, "You were cheating." And I was like, how the fuck does she know I'm fucking cheating? Like, you have intuition and it's real. You guys are smart, right? And if they get to a certain echelon of man, they're not going to go anywhere because there's nowhere else to go. They're going to get to a guy eventually. They're going to stop at the buck and go, you know what? Where am I going to surpass this specimen? So I'm just going to behave for him. So you could turn a hoe into a housewife that way. But why would a man at that level want to do that?
What are you about to say, Andrew? Because you just started speaking.
I was going to say...
Andrew, she said.
Andrew. I want to hear... Because you've been through a lot in your life. When she told me that you were going to be on and we were going to be on this panel together, I started watching a bunch of your videos. And it really was like, there's so much that you have been through, which is why you have a well of wisdom, right?
Oh, so he talks all this shit about you, and now all of a sudden you turn into a super fan? I just don't understand what the hell is going on in this whole video here. Just watch her expressions. It's crazy.
And the difference between me and you is that you're glorified for it, and I am burned at the stake for everything that I've been through. And it's so funny because people have always said that we were two sides of the same coin as far as like, well, if Andrew Tate gets banned, Brittany Renner should get banned because we are all about accountability and fucking truth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. I'm seen as used goods. You're seen as a high value man. Yep. So if you're me, then what? What's next?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And it's interesting you make that observation, and you are correct. That's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. It's unfair. I guess the world's not fair, but that's the difference in the masculine and the feminine. Men are respected for going through things and surviving, and women are the complete opposite. They're shamed for going through things and surviving. If you look at women, love scars on men for a reason. He's gone through something. They're
war wounds.
Yeah, men don't want a chick covered in scars. I'll say this right now that a woman, the more trauma she goes through, the more masculine she naturally becomes. And if you were to give me my ideal woman, I would not have wanted her to have a hard life and a bunch of trauma. I like the idea of her having a soft feminine life and being a soft person, and I can take care of her and protect her. Whereas as a man, to be a good man, you need to have been through a bunch of trauma, because if you haven't been through trauma as a man, you're a weakling. You have to have been through a bunch of shit. So the masculine and the feminine is a very interesting point there. As for I don't know your history. I don't know the past, but we can just talk in generalizations in regards to
People like me, I guess, under the same umbrella. It doesn't have to be personal.
I don't know any of it, but we'll give generalizations. One of the main reasons that men are scared of a female with history is because it makes the man insecure. And scared dogs bite. So this is why men will snap or get angry quick, or they'll bring up if you get in an argument with him, he'll bring up your history, whatever. But a lot of it is insecurity, and it's not insecurity because the man is insecure. The female paradigm in society convinces men, any man who says anything, you're insecure. It's not insecure in that way. It's insecure in a very realistic, logical way. Like I was saying earlier, she's had a lot of life experience. Let's be honest. Am I the richest guy she's ever had? No. Am I the most famous guy she's ever had? No. Am I the best looking guy she's ever had? No. Like, what's keeping her here? And then part of it comes down to, well, am I second place? If she could do better, would she do better? Like, there's a whole bunch of insecurity involved. And that's where tiny things, like I know it sounds like dumb shit, tiny things about the favorite car brand become more important than ever, right? It's your job as a woman, regardless of how much sexual history you've had or what guy you're with, etc. It's your job as a woman to make your man feel secure in the fact and make him feel like a man, like Auntie was saying, make him feel like the man no matter what he does, so that he feels like you really truly believe he's the best choice for you on the planet. That's your job to do. Now, if you've had a checkered past, that's perhaps more difficult. You need to be more tactful with it, more tactical about it. But you have to achieve the same result. You have to do the exact same thing, right? So, yeah. It's easy for me if I get a 21-year-old virgin from some village in Slovakia and I'm multimillionaire Andrew Tate. Of course, it's a very easy. She's never had better. She'll never get better. She's never been anywhere. Boom, boom, easy one, right? But like you said, the world's not so idealistic. The reality is that people have had relationships, et cetera, et cetera. But a man is happiest in the relationship when he feels like man of the house and when he truly feels like you believe he's the best man that you could possibly ever get and have ever gotten.
So I feel like what your overall message is, which is about truth. So it's like if my truth, like if it can be destroyed by the truth, it should be destroyed by the truth. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like why it's really mind-boggling to me, because I feel like how could you even be mentally, emotionally, sexually stimulated by a woman who is just agreeable and it just doesn't have her own mind. I just don't see that.
That is exactly what every man wants. We don't want you to be complete robots. We're not saying we can't have a joke with you. We can't say we can't have a laugh with you. We're not saying you can't have a personality. But when it comes to things like agreement, there is not a single man in the world who's going to say, she's too agreeable. She just agrees with me on it. She agrees with me on all the important things in my life. She's too agreeable. I want someone else. Fuck no. You're completely and utterly wrong on that point. It's a huge point. This idea that, I understand if you're a complete doormat and you set no standards, men might walk all over you. I'm not talking about it.
All right, guys, that's our show here for today. Did you like it? What did you think? Did you think Andrew Tate owned Brittany Renner, or did you think Brittany Renner held her own and she's not a 403 and you want to go wife her right now? If you do, then that's your business. I ain't here to change you. I ain't here to save you. 3-6 Mafia taught me don't save her. She don't want to be saved. And so that's the philosophy that I'm living by. But a philosophy that you should live by is, until next time, don't forget to be good on your way to becoming great. And I know you're going to become great. Until next time.